And welcome to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And folks, we got a great show today. We're going to discuss a little bit about J.B. Pritzker, Ilya Omar. And we're going to talk about what happened at the National Action Network convention over the weekend. So if you ain't got nothing to do, call your friends and let them know you're listening to Let the Truth Be Told Radio. I'm your host, Pastor David. Y'all come on in. And thank you, and welcome to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. First, let me give all praises to Yahuwah and Yahusha, that's God in Christ in Hebrew. Well, folks, see, to the American people and patriots across this country, we have to pay close attention to things when they're happening because the Democratic Party feels right now that they can only use identity politics. They keep thinking that they're going to strike gold again and have black folks voting for them for another 60 years with the same continuous lie, we're going to get to you next year. So we've been getting to next year for over 60 years now, and we have never gotten there. So when we see these things that's coming about, they have really come after President Trump with all sorts of little small things, talking to judges, trying to give out orders to tell them to stop doing this and that. But to the American people and patriots, we know damn well ourselves that this is the first time our country has started to make a comeback, and we're getting respect for what has been happening. And so we took Venezuela in, rightfully so. But for 40-something years, America has been going back and forth with Iran. Iran trying to create a nuclear weapon. They always were talking crap. They used the fear of kamikaze-type tactics and terrorists to threaten to bomb and blow up everywhere. So one of these days, somebody is going to call your bluff. That bluff came when President Trump pounded Iran into submission. The Democrats have done everything that they could to try to stop him because Barack Obama had given Iran $9 billion cash of American taxpayers' money, and that's the slush fund that the Democrats have been using from then to continue the stream of corrupt money that they've taken from the taxpayers. So in saying that, folks, we got a great team today. They're going to talk about these issues. We got a couple of things we're going to talk about. So let me get my guest in. Hey, Doc.
Hey, how's it going?
And you. What's up, Mr. Binky?
Hey, buddy.
And I got somebody else down there. What's up, Dre?
How you doing?
And where are we at? There Randy is. What's going on, boss man?
Happy Friday.
Man, thank you. Guys, listen. The Iran war, the Democrats have been waiting for an opportunity that this would fail. When the strait was closed, they was raising hell like, Trump done made a mistake. But for me, I've seen America on the upswing. We're getting back to the place where people are joining the military. Our young men and women are getting much more focused. I mean, the world is coming back from the devastation that Joe Biden and Barack Obama and all those Democrats and what they did to try to destroy the American dream and the American people. Doc, you up first. What's your thoughts on the Iran war before I play this clip?
Well, the last I checked, there was like a ceasefire. So I have no idea what we're in, but I know we have to get out, right? Because we're in this threshold of a 90-day window. So 60 days in, 30 days out. I see it. It's more on the tail end of it because it's really coming around to what it was actually about all the time. It was about money. This is about money. And a lot of people were like, well, it's about the oil. No, it's about the money. And it was how the money's being traded and transferred. So China can no longer deal in yuan like they want to do, right? They still got to deal with the dollar. Iran, look, Trump was like, I'm going to shut it all down. How's that? How about you just make no money at all? Like nobody's going to get in and nobody's going to get out. How's that? And so here we are. So they're just crying uncle at this point.
Dre, you want? Yeah. I'm gonna give you guys each time to respond before I play the clip, and then we'll discuss that. Dre,
the faster this war comes to an end, the better. In the previous administration, we saw a lot of weird things happening, like spy balloons and drones flying over the country. We haven't seen that in the Trump administration, but we don't want to press our luck because after letting so many people into our country, there could be cells in the country, but those cells cannot be funded to move if their central location is not bringing in any oil money because of the embargo. So this is a good development, and I hope that we trend to bringing this war to an end.
Mr. Binky,
let Randy go.
Hey, down there.
I would say, for this this ceasefire agreement, it says two things. It says that one, Iranians realize that they have no choice but to capitulate to the demands of the United States and Israel, for that matter. And the second thing is that the United States, or Democrats rather, the Democrats realized that they failed in their cheerleading efforts in hopes that this war was going to be a utter disaster. So this morning it was reported that the Strait of Hormuz is completely open upon the agreement of the ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel. So now that the ships and everybody is flowing, which, oh, by the way, last week ships was rerouted to come to the United States to get their oil and stuff. And anyways, so
Yeah.
we're winning.
That's right.
Not the only
You ready now?
The bottom line.
Go ahead, Ben.
Well, I'm ready, but I'm going to see if you guys are ready. Because I'm not speaking on my feelings. I'm not speaking on who's bad or who's worse. I'm speaking on the Constitution. And a lot of people don't want to accept that. But what's going on in Iran should have never started. It don't matter how bad I feel about Iran. I don't agree with what Iran does. I don't agree with what they stand for. But when it comes down to basically a schoolyard bully telling you you're going to do it my way or we're going to blow the hell out of you, it just the president is not the commander in chief 24/7. Article 2, Section 2, the president will be the commander in chief of the Army, Navy, and the militia of the several states when called into actual service. Okay? In order to be called into actual service is under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 11, where Congress has the power to declare war. Now, the War Power Act is not constitutional because it doesn't meet Article 6, Section 2, which says that all laws pursuant to the Constitution and treaties shall be the supreme law of the land. What we're looking at here is a guy who, I'm sorry, I'm not anti-Trump. I'm not a Democrat. I don't want nothing to do with the Democrats. But I believe We've got a constitution, and we need to abide by a constitution. Because if we turn that constitution into a living document by creating laws that bypass what the constitution says, we are all in trouble, and we will be in trouble not today, but tomorrow and the future.
Okay. Okay. Now,
I have.
I want you to
I was gonna say I got a slight rebuttal to that because you said something. I'm in 100% agree with you. Don't get me wrong here, but you said something that that kind of framed it as if Congress is passing a law that says, "Hey, this is what we're going to do," and Article 1, Section 11 says that all laws passed is hereby the law of the land. Then, if they pass the war powers, resolution to allow the president to do limited action, then would that not be considered, still constitutional?
No, because Article 2 tells you the power of the president.
Right.
Article 6, Section 2 says all laws in pursuance to. That means you got to follow the Constitution first.
Mm-hmm.
If
okay.
it does not meet,
I see your angle.
Yeah.
I see your angle.
Now listen to this, guys. Now, hear me perfectly. See, I applaud President Trump for what he's doing because he's kicking ass, and that's what needs to be done. To you, Steve, because the Constitution was already violated by the Democrats, the Obamas, the Clintons, and all of those people before Trump was even thought about being president, they were already destroying the Constitution of America. That's why we saw all the things that they was doing. They came after the Second Amendment. They came after the free speech. They had something to do with Charlie Kirk being killed. I mean, this whole thing on when they started talking about the transgenders, brothers start dying and popping off. And so the Democrat Party have already shown to the American people and patriots across this country that they support this evil. They support the lifestyle that's destructive to the American people. I agree. With that being said, is now that President Trump is in office, he is going to have to use every resource, every law that he can use to bring things back to order so the Constitution can function.
Mm-hmm. No, we do.
Let me say this. We can quit saying we because we ain't did a damn thing, because if we did our job, we wouldn't be in trouble right now. So let's just stop saying what we did, because we didn't do it and we know it. It was the people that were supposed to speak for us. And so I say that what he is doing, he's bringing things back in line so the Constitution still can stand. And what he did at Iran, Bush didn't do it. Clinton didn't do it. The only person that was going to do it was Ronald Reagan when he had the hostages way back in and said, if them people ain't loose before I swear in, I'm going to bomb the hell out of Iran. They turned them loose as soon as 1 second after the time that he was in the office. So one more thing. So when you talk about a bully, Iran has been a bully for years on top of years, threatening terrorist acts against America, killing American citizens and soldiers. And so I really don't care what he have to do, but he needs to do what he needs to do to make this country safe. Let me play this clip, guys, and we can talk about it.
The most significant turning point yet in the war against Iran's radical regime. Good morning and thanks for joining us. This is the National News Desk, America's News Now. I'm Jan Jeffcoat. It is Friday, April 17th. We want to now welcome our Charged viewers live with us on the East Coast and recorded on the West. As President Trump's operation shifted from a military campaign to crippling economic pressure, Iran's signaling now it's more open to diplomacy. President Trump said new talks with Iran could happen as soon as this weekend. And we're already seeing movement in the region with Israel and Hezbollah, Lebanon agreeing to a ceasefire.
With Lebanon, it's very exciting. I think we're going to have a deal where we're going to have a meeting, first time in 44 years. And Lebanon will be meeting with Israel, and they're probably going to do it at the White House.
When do you think, President, when do you think they will?
Over the next week or two.
President Trump's naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz turned the tables on Iran. Mark Boyle, following all of this from the live desk, that economic squeeze, Mark, looks like it is working right now and forcing Iran back to the negotiating table.
It's really, they're out of options here, Jan, and the clock is ticking. And right now, we'll see if all of this holds together through the weekend. This morning, mediators from Pakistan are busy talking with Iranian leaders, as well as the heads of other Gulf nations in the region, to put together this ceasefire deal. The goal? Make sure the U.S. is happy, Iran, everyone get to the table at the end of the day. The president says an agreement could be hit by this weekend.
Iran wants to make a deal, and we're dealing very nicely with them. We've got to have no nuclear weapons. If we do, that's a big factor. And they're willing to do things today that they weren't willing to do 2 months ago. I think we have a very successful negotiation going on right now. And I think it'll be, if it happens, it'll be announced fairly soon.
Now, one of the biggest sticking points through all of this remains the Strait of Hormuz. This is where the U.S. Navy blockade is in place. It's been very effective. CENTCOM confirming about 10,000 troops are there to help block that waterway, so a big presence. Meantime, there was a breakthrough in the ceasefire talks in the Middle East. This morning, we can confirm it is a 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. It took effect just a few hours ago while you were sleeping. Israel and Lebanon have been fighting since the start of the conflict, Israel trying to root out Hezbollah militants that are backed by Iran. And new from overnight, this is the message on Truth posted by the president. He says, may have been a historic day for Lebanon. This posted just before 11 o'clock Eastern time. Trump says Israel and Lebanon could meet at the White House within the next couple of weeks to finalize a lasting deal. Updates on.
All right, Doc, your thoughts?
I like it. It's good. It's good. But you know what I was saying earlier, he was just like he has to squeeze them out. Now, but here's the caveat to this. OPEC is one, okay, because they still got that little cartel going. I'm just saying he's got a lot of work ahead of him. And then the other caveat is, can Israel stop bombing Lebanon? Okay, can Israel maintain the ceasefire? Right? Because they had another ceasefire and then Israel went off and was bombing folks. Yeah, if you're looking for whomever you're looking for, but still you have to honor the ceasefire regardless. So my whole thing is, will Israel actually honor it?
Dre?
I think it will be a historic meeting if it happens at the White House. I'm wondering what the reports from the left-wing media will be once they're actually in the White House negotiating.
No good.
Will they be negative? Will they continue to be negative? But I also am really impressed by how he's been able to, as Dr. Nichols was saying, put the squeeze on them. And now they're coming back to the negotiating table. I'm hoping that this will not be thwarted by one side upsetting the ceasefire, because we have seen that. So if it makes it through the weekend, we might be in a good situation.
Randy?
I'm okay with all this. At the end of the day, aside from the uncertainties in our markets that had drastically affected us, I'm optimistic to see that gas prices are going to drop down, grocery prices and everything else is going to stabilize and decrease as a reward for what has transpired over the last 2 months. So we'll see what happens. But as far as Lebanon goes, I think Lebanon overall wants to have peace in the Middle East region. I think they want that. And now that Hezbollah has been decapitated for the large part, they say, okay, we can get to a sense of normalcy now, and let's see what, where we can go from there. And the same thing with Iran. I endeavor to, go to Iran as a tourist one day, see, what Tehran is like and all that. So let's see what happens.
Mr. Binky?
Well, we've known that the Middle East has been at war with each other for centuries. As Dr. Nichols pointed out, we forced the country into coming and negotiating to our terms. So is this talk? Is this just to ease the tensions right now? And are these talks going to be lasting? I don't trust the Middle East at all.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know.
Yes.
And right now, as everybody's pointed out, and I agree 1,000%, we forced them into a situation to come to a table. Okay, so are they coming to the table so we can let this calm down and then they'll retaliate some other way?
Right.
Who knows?
My thought is this. Okay, you saw the devastation that has been done over there in that country. They've been crippled. They've been disabled. And for Trump, he like you said, Dre, before, everybody else is playing checkers. He's playing chess.
Yep.
So now he cut you off where you can't get out. You can't get nothing in. Your country is tore up to hell. You don't have no big sissy like Barack Obama sending no more pallets of cash.
Nope.
You don't have this weak leadership of Joe Biden kissing their ass. This is the United States of America. We are a superpower. It's time that we start acting like that and give power back to the people of this country and make us great again. That's just the bottom line for me, guys. Anybody want to say after that? We're going to move to our next topic.
I just have one more point. The Trump administration did a great job with the Abraham Accords, and I don't know what kind of messed that up, but they were able to basically stabilize that region for a while. So I'm confident that, you know, an actual form of talk could help, and they could get like many members of that region to commit to peace.
But and that's the thing. Finally, once and for all, and Binky was talking about, you know, America being a bully. I think America got bullied long enough, and for me, and all the things, because, you know, when they took hostage to those people back in the day, and Jimmy Carter was the president, I believe, and they was talking to him like he was a punk. I mean, he was trying to kiss their butt, send them stuff and all of that, and they still wouldn't let those people out. But that's the difference between day and night. There was somebody that's not afraid of you, will stand up to you, and then now it looks like because I'm stomping a mud hole into you, you were a bully, so I'm stomping a mud hole into you, but the Democrats are making it seem like our country is so off point that we're a big bully, but everybody is over in our country taking what the American taxpayers have created, and ain't nobody saying nothing about that. So I'm right on point with President Trump. Mr. Binky.
Yes. Rebuttal to that.
Go ahead.
I mean, this is the truth be told. Okay.
Yes, talk show.
Even during Reagan and the hostage takeover, it was Congress's job to stand up and do their job to come up with the solution of taking care of that problem. That's my whole point.
Yep.
That we've got Congress that's supposed to do their job. They are not doing their job.
Exactly.
And we're not doing our job by making them do their job.
Exactly.
That makes sense to you?
Absolutely. They're bought and paid for. They're not serving the American people.
And they're advocating.
Stop serving us once they got a paycheck. Okay.
Yeah, and they're advocating their responsibility by delegating that responsibility to the president. So there's a unilateral, you know, responsibility on the shoulders of the president. Yeah,
it's unilateral.
That's why I pointed out. Right, and that's why I pointed out what I when you said that, Steve, that, you know, Article 11 there, or section Article 1, Section 11 there, about the laws, the pursuant to. And I agree with you. I totally agree with you there.
So do I.
You know, but that's kind of like the apple cart there for the SCOTUS to say, hey, we interpret that as any law that comes out of Congress, if it's unchallenged, then that's the law of the land, and it is what it is. So if they want to delegate their authority out of Article 1 altogether and delegate it all to the president, you know, under Article 2, then so be it. That's how they're framing this, and that's how they're operating. And so
but they got to change that. They have to constitutionally amend that.
Correct. I agree. I agree with you.
By law. And
They would have to do that through the Article 5 process. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the problem is we've got a Congress that's sitting up there doing whatever they want, however they want through laws that violate Article 6, Section 2. And they are being allowed by the states. See, the states created the federal government, so it's the state's duty to make sure they keep their creation in check.
Correct.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree. I'm just looking at it from the liberal court, court point of view of like they created the law. Yeah. Have a great day. Yeah.
And I love this, but we are the everyday people. We are the power of this country, and because of our inept ability to get good people in office, everything is off track. Because if the Constitution was being ran the right way, the country would be running fine, and we wouldn't have illegal aliens over here committing crimes and killing people. I mean, if the way the Constitution is written, we wouldn't have the Somalis who came to Minnesota lying about marrying husbands and wives, because the Democratic Party have allowed all of this so that they could cripple this country, open our borders, and create a society that's the government dependent. That's what this whole thing was, a plan against the American people. The Democrats did it with those Republicans who are rhinos, who are not really Republicans, and to the American people. We can see for ourselves. Look at our country. Look at it where it was before Trump got in office. It was going to hell. LGTB was going crazy. Kids ain't learning nothing in the schools. Crime going crazy. Here in Chicago, you got the takeovers every weekend. Now you got a bunch of kids looting stores, shooting, fighting. That's because the structure of America has been destroyed by people that don't live here.
How about New York?
That's my point. That's my point that I'm making, is the fact that now we have to do things beyond reason to get back America to the place that it used to be, where it was a strong country, that our culture was what God said it was going to be. Because see, this is a spiritual war. The culture changed because the enemy, Satan, don't want God's rule to stand between the marriage between the man and the woman. And I'm telling you, that is the downfall of any society when you can't reproduce. So, I'm proud of what President Trump is doing, especially with the borders, with immigration. The American people, how much is enough? How many more American lives have to be lost because of this immigration problem? And every time that you say something about immigration, the Democrats come up with a damn excuse on why Sheridan Gordon was killed.
Yeah.
Okay. They come up with an excuse why Megan Boss was killed by an illegal. He raped her dead body after she cut her head off. And the judge released him the day that he did the murder and got out of jail on the Safety Act. I mean, how much longer and how many more of what's the law that they created by the young lady Megan? But the point that I'm making is, how much longer are the American people going to continue to let these shade tree mechanic politicians, who we know are liars and thieves and killers, and yet how much longer are we going to continue with this foolishness?
Exactly, Pastor Laurie. And it is Congress. It's Congress, because we saw the other day that they decided that they had to emergency restart TPS because it was going to end and expire for Haitians. They used a move that was unprecedented to force a vote, a discord position, to force a vote to get 118 people to support bringing back TPS. And now they're going to bring it to the floor to vote on. And I hope that they reject it, because why have they given up on American workers, especially Black workers, who we have a perpetual third of our population that's constantly in poverty. Why have we washed our hands and said we can't help them anymore? We can't help them pull themselves out by the bootstraps. We can't train them. We can't provide them with jobs that can get them back into the workforce. Why do we need to bring Haitians? And it's not going to just end with Haitians. The next it will be the Afghans. The next it will be the
Iranians.
Yeah, the Iranians. It will be what's the country that Russia's fighting against?
Ukrainians.
Ukraine. It will be Ukrainians coming in. So it just doesn't end with this. That's why we have to shut these kind of bills down, and we have to make sure that the American people know this and they hold their elected officials accountable.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Mr. Binky?
Yeah, to Andre and to you, we're sitting here on a show that we're trying to educate people. We're trying to educate people on a bad government. A government's doing what they're doing. They're destroying our families. They're destroying our economy. Okay, education is the biggest part of understanding government. And in our declaration, which was an official document put through by the Lee Resolution, there's a section in there that says that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of its ends, it is the right of the people to alter and abolish it, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. When we're tired of government doing whatever they want, destroying whatever they want, making our lives terrible, we've got the legal authority. And if we become educated about this, then government is going to be in fear of us instead of us being in fear of them.
And Mr. Mickey, that's correct too, because see, you can't control people when they know who they are and what you're supposed to do for them.
Bingo.
And so that's how they were able to manipulate this country and manipulate the birthright laws and make it seem like it's clearly for black people, had nothing to do with nobody's baby and nobody else coming over here. But you see how the Democrats have manipulated the Constitution in order to do what they have already done, which is attack the American people and do these things.
Pastor Larry, I was
go ahead.
Not to interrupt you, but to Steve's point and to your point, Pastor, what you just said there, that's the problem that we have. Yes, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish the current government if it is destructive to the ends.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
But what they did was they created a law to make it illegal to do that. And so, so when we sit there and we talk about, doing something to that effect of, hey, this is not working out for us anymore. We've change government. Oh, now we're insurrectionists. Now we're treason. We skate a fine line when it comes to that. But once again, you have to elect people who are like-minded of that same caliber and say, you know what, screw it. And it's just like what Abraham Lincoln did back at the start of the Civil War. He said, we have to violate the Constitution in order to save the Constitution.
Yes.
And so, does it mean that it comes down to that we go into this era of violating the Constitution in order to save it? I think that's where we're at.
Well, actually, no, because they are acting in a treasonous manner, and they've done it. They've actually done it because it's giving your enemy aid and comfort. They've given aid and comfort to people that they brought over here illegally, and they've admitted it, and they've fought for these people through the judicial system. Those people were supposed to be deported last year, a year ago, because that's when their status ended, and they fought for them. So you fought for people to be here illegally, to use our tax dollars to take care of them, aid and comfort. So they've shown themselves to be treasonous. It's an action.
Yes, it is. And that's the reason why we're going to play this clip. But I want to say this, that just for that very fact, Doc, the fact that these people have broken the law clearly. Binky, you know the law, you know the Constitution. The Democrats have broken it. Each day they're aiding and abetting criminals. Each day, more American lives are being stolen because these illegal migrants they're not supposed to be here. If you came illegally, and I don't have a problem with people come to the country, but come the right way. The only people that were stolen and brought to this country was the American blacks. Everybody else came because they wanted to. We came because we were forced to come to. And the reason why I'm saying it is this. Look at the black community. With the liberals, the Democrats have always told us, wait your turn. Well, that's been 60 years ago, and every 4 or 5 years, they keep saying, wait your turn. And look at us, especially the Black Americans. Our communities are war zone. They're desolate, no economic development. People are coming into our community, setting up shop. They bring in all sorts of cultures into the Black community. The whole thing of 60 years of this foolishness has been against Black people. It's the Democratic Party who are perpetrating these crimes with deceptions, lies, and all the other gamuts that they can bring to the table. And if you think I'm lying, go outside your door, go to the Black community, and then ride to another community. You can tell where the Black community ends and where it begins.
Yeah.
Let me play this clip about J.B. Pritzker, he should be arrested. J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, should be arrested right now, him and Brandon Johnson, for the deaths of Americans who have lost their lives at the hands of illegal migrants who should have never been here in the first place.
You have to say, just to the family of Sheridan Gorman, do you have anything to say?
Before we get into this maddening exchange, quick recap. Sheridan Gorman was a college student in Chicago who was murdered by an illegal alien.
She was walking with friends near a beach less than a mile from campus. Her family says she was trying to catch a glimpse of the Northern Lights. Authorities say that's when a man approached the group, took out a gun, and opened fire. Gorman was shot in the head.
And the illegal alien suspect?
He entered the country illegally in May of 2023. In June of that year, he was arrested for shoplifting in Chicago from the Macy's store on State Street. Court records show he was released on bond and never showed up to court for that charge.
Sheridan, she was our joy, our collective joy. Now that joy is gone.
Her family saying, we will not allow this to be dismissed as wrong place, wrong time. This was not random misfortune.
But guess what? A Chicago alderwoman is saying exactly that.
It sounds like this might have been a wrong place, wrong time, running into a person who had a gun. They might have startled this person at the end of the pier unintentionally.
And Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker showed deep sorrow for what happened. Oh, just kidding. This is him laying flowers for Renee Good. Still waiting for those flowers for Sheridan Gorman. Anyway, let's hear the exchange with reporter William J. Kelly.
Speaking of Homeland Security.
Yes, sir.
Sheridan Gorman. Do you remember the name Sheridan Gorman?
Of course.
She was killed by a suspect, an illegal alien who would not have been in this country or even on the streets, but for your safety act.
That's not true. I'm not in charge of the borders. I'm not in charge of the borders.
But he would have been in jail. He would have been deported. ICE would have deported him.
I'll let you finish your question. What's your question?
What do you have to say, just to the family of Sheridan Gorman? Do you have anything to say?
I do, and I've said this before, but I'm happy to say it for you. I know you're holding your camera up and want me to say it.
I see a lot of cameras here.
But to be clear, I've said it before.
Reporters have cameras, Governor.
No, I'm not complaining about your camera. I want to make sure that I'm saying it to you and through your camera, even though I have said it to many other cameras when you were not there, apparently. This is an awful tragedy. I mean, what happened to Sheridan Gorman is truly an unthinkable loss that parents go through, that families go through when someone is killed. This man was a murderer. There's no doubt about it.
Why was he in the country?
Well, of course, he was in the country. First, he was in the country because we had border security that didn't work. And I complained about that. And I came out in favor of the Lankford bill to secure the border, which Donald Trump was opposed to. He wanted to make it an issue for everybody, immigration. And he succeeded in making it an issue when you could have dealt with the issue back in 2023 or 2024. Donald Trump didn't want to do that. It was a political issue. He wanted to ride into the White House, and he did. I do not think this should be about politics. We need comprehensive immigration reform. And I have said over and over again We should take violent criminals who are in this country undocumented off the streets. They should either, if they are violent criminals, they should either serve time in our prison and then be deported, or they should be deported and serve time in another prison. They shouldn't just be deported, by the way, and let go in another country if they've committed a violent crime in this country. But that is not what ICE and CBP and Donald Trump have been doing. They've gone after black and brown people, U.S. citizens, legal residents, and undocumented people who haven't committed any crimes. And they've made that their focus rather than making their focus going after violent criminals.
Is that just their main talking point? Is that what they all do? Is that what they all say? It is literally on record. It's like that's the default switch.
Yep.
It's crazy. I'm like, what are you talking about? You literally have a state policy that says you don't ask about status. You don't have cash bail. If people cannot afford bail, you let them back out regardless of their immigration status. How can this be the fault of the federal government when you won't even follow federal law?
That's right.
Randy,
defund them. Federal government. This is too easy for me. This is why I cannot run for president. I will be assassinated in the first hour because everybody would hate my ass. I just know it.
Look, you're locking everybody up.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I'd be like, thank you. All right, hey, effective immediately. All blue states, you're defunded. Thank you.
Right.
You don't want to follow federal law, you're defunded. There you go. And then the judges would come along and say, you can't do that. Yes, screw you. You're fired to get out of here. And what they're going to do. That is the whole premise of our lovely government, our lovely republic, is that we, the people, have the right to instill or install leaders that will do our will. And once you do that, no one else can do anything about it. That's the crazy part. But for some reason, we don't get that. And so we have this chaos that's going on. And you got people like J.B. Pritzker that's sitting up there saying since 2024, well, hello, ding dong, President Biden or the auto pen was in charge at that time because it wasn't him. And y'all could have had that. Y'all could have did everything with as far as reform, immigration reform and all that. You could have did it all.
They didn't want it. Dre?
Nope, they didn't want to.
Dre?
Well, my problem with this is what exactly Dr. Nichols said is that they keep playing on this repeat. Oh, former president at that time, candidate Trump, took the Congress hostage and told all the Republicans, bullied the Republicans into not doing anything with immigration. Do you know why the Langford bill failed? The Langford bill failed because they tried to do it under the table. They put it out to a few people. They called it bipartisan. And then when people actually read it, they found out that it was trash. This bill would have allowed 5,000 people to come across the border by law every day. No questions asked. And then they would have the discretion to shut down the border, which we know they wouldn't have done. So they were trying to codify 5,000 people coming in every day. We would have the same problem, if not worse, if we had the Langford bill. So that's why it didn't pass. But, also Pritzker doesn't want to talk about any of the sanctuary policies that he has in place that's attracting people to go to Chicago in the first place. That's attracting people to come from all around the world to come to Chicago.
Mr. Binky?
Well,
it's your governor.
when you listen to him say we need comprehensive immigration reform, what he's telling you is I don't care about the law unless it's what I want the law to be. So what happens when you put a suit on a turd?
It's still a turd blossom.
It's a good looking piece of shit.
It's still a turd blossom.
And that's going to meet everything.
Just the suit itself, and why I feel people that's watching the show, you have to ask yourself honestly, what kind of foolishness is this? When J.B. Pritzker has been in the media openly criticizing President Trump for trying to bring ICE into Chicago to remove all these illegals. So when J.B. Pritzker says it's Trump's fault that this guy's in because of his immigration policies, it's J.B. Pritzker who took him to court just with the Democratic Party so that they can open the borders. So this is all hypocritical talk. This is the kind of talk that the American people need to see and say, you know what? Is we a damn fool or is he a damn fool? Think about it. Because
it's him.
But think about it though. Because of the fact that we have allowed this fool to be in office and do all the things that he has done with the Democratic Party in Illinois, gave them $2.5 billion, gave them places to stay, gave them cars, gave them homes, gave them education, health care, everything, billions of dollars to illegals. But yet here in Chicago, we still got homeless people and veterans sleeping out in the cold under the viaduct. They aren't getting food. He even codified the pastors into getting them money so that they can help with the illegals. So to the people of the state of Illinois, how much more bullshit talk can we take from J.B. Pritzker? How much more of this game he's playing with the lives of American citizens and using our money to play these games, because he know damn well that this guy was illegal. He know damn well that he was the person that caused him to be here. He knows damn well everything that he's doing is illegal against the American people. And I think the people in Illinois, we need to take a real hard look come November. Darren Bailey is on the ballot. We need that change. JB needs to go. He needs to be totally out of office. And the only way that he should be going anywhere is to prison.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I was listening to a hearing with Jasmine Crockett, and to listen to J.B. Pritzker. So J.B. Pritzker is trying to say it's the federal government's fault. I'm the state. I'm what can I do? Jasmine Crockett said, well, we're the federal government. We don't elect your state officials. It's the state's problem. This is the game that they're playing right now with the American people going into the midterms. Don't listen to them. It's all of their fault. It is the Democratic Party. I don't care.
Yes.
They have sold themselves out to illegal aliens. They are a part of replacement migration. I'm telling you, this was done back in 2000 with the United Nations. They are off track for Agenda 2030. They have to speed it up some kind of way. They have to violate every single law putting these people in, because if they don't get martial law, because they can't lock us down again, the economy's going to do better again. You know what I'm saying? So they're failing. They're off track. The last stint is getting us to fight with people that don't belong here. That's not our fight. We still need to fight with these politicians and make them do what we want them to do, or they're not going to be in office.
And that's why I threw my hat into the ringer here in the state of Illinois. We're going to be working with Darren Bailey. We're going to make sure he gets into the Black community. That's what he needs. He needs that. He needs the exposure to Black people, because see, Chicago, what was red before, it has always been red. The only reason why the Democrats stayed in power was because they cheated at the polls. They don't have any Republican committee people that can go into the polling places and ensure that the judges are Republicans instead of Democrats being, taking the job of Republicans. The whole system, the polling system, is corrupt in Chicago. And that's what we're going to do with Mr. Bailey. We're going to be able to ensure that the polling places are correct, make sure that there are Republican committee men who will be sitting in, and other Republicans in the state of Illinois will stand and balance off with the Democrats to make sure that they can't steal an election through the polls. Now, guys, I'm going to shift gears right quick. All of this is what we're having to do and talk about. And to the American people and patriots across this country, this is the show you want to watch. I know there's a lot of people out there doing what we do, but don't nobody do it like we do right here at Let the Truth Be Told Radios. Now, Ilya Omar, see, these are the culprits in our government that has continued to show us, to tell us We don't give a shit about America. We're going to do what we want to do. And I don't even know how they got into office when they're not even American citizens, nor natural Americans. But you know, she's been in Congress all this time. She's put together the plan to steal all this money. They stole the money. And now that Trump got into office, they're trying to hide the money. I want to play this clip, guys, and get your thoughts on this.
Fox News alert, Ilhan Omar under investigation after racking up millions while she was in Congress. Senior national correspondent Kevin Corke has it. What's up, Kevin?
Good to see you, my friend. What's the old saying? Follow the money? Well, that's precisely what the House Oversight Committee is doing. They are probing squad member Ilhan Omar's skyrocketing family wealth, Jesse, especially in the wake of that $9 billion, some would argue $19 billion, Somali social services fraud scandal that exploded in her district in Minnesota. The Oversight Chair, James Comer, says his team's lawyers are exploring the extraordinary step of subpoenaing Omar's spouse over his curious business practices. Republicans want to know how the Somali-born Omar and her politically connected husband, Tim Minette, went from being nearly broke to being worth around $30 million in just a year, according to her 2024 disclosure forms. Quoting Comer now, there are a lot of questions as to how her husband accumulated so much wealth over the past 2 years. It's not possible. It's not. And he's a money guy. Minette and his partner, Will Haler, back in 2022, formed an investment firm, Jesse.
Okay, guys, I want your comments. Go ahead.
You know, at least they could see why, if they had some stocks. They don't have any. Look her up. Because you can look them up quarterly to see who's doing what the trades are, how much they're trading. She's not listed.
Exactly.
And it's not listed in her disclosure.
Yep. And you know, it is easy to follow the money, and they should have did that from day one. But you know what? This is the problem with Congress. They protect each other. Now with the bombshell explosion of Tony Gonzalez, Eric Swalwell, and that other chick out of Florida, I don't remember her name.
Oh yeah,
but you know,
the $5 million ring girl.
Yeah. All of them, and now you know, Ilhan Omar. You know, for some reason she seems like she's untouchable, but she should be in the cusp of all of those that group as well. All four of them should be expelled, and this is just too easy. And so I think the problem that we are having is we have members of Congress who are protecting their rank and file members, and they need to have the bullseye put on their back and say, hey, either you enforce the laws within your own body, within your own chamber, or you're next too. And
well, you know, they're still dealing with a terrorist organization when you consider Ilhan Omar involved. That's where that money is tied back to. So they've got a gun to their head, literally.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay.
Well, you know, what gets me is how do these public servants get elected to office, going in worth $500,000 and come out worth hundreds of millions?
Come on.
You know, they're government officials, they're public servants, and John Adams said back in the day that government of laws, not of men. So why can't we make it so they can't make money while they're in office? All they get is what they get while they're in office, not from some lobbyist, not from some Soros group or whatever. How does this money get into their bank accounts?
Well, the thing is, they had per diem, right? Which basically, if they spent money and they had like a $50 a day per diem, they were reimbursed for whatever they spent while they were there. That was an issue. Then it was like, well, we have to save and protect them from being influenced by outside people giving them money, because there was a time between the 70s and 80s, they could not take any donations from anybody. So they gave them a salary, and now they have a salary. But then they were like, well, we can still get donations. And now we have 501c4s where you do not have to disclose who's giving you any money. It's always been a slippery slope since the time they've gotten a paycheck. We have to go back to per diem. We have
Well,
to.
I
We got
think
$50 a day.
we need to start putting salt down on this slippery slope here. And,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, they work for us. Why should
They
they
do.
go in and
They don't
and
work for us. They don't work for us. They don't
Well,
work for
I
us,
agree,
baby. They're
yeah.
supposed to. They're supposed to.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
The American dream is our dream, not their dream.
It is. It is.
It is totally.
But it's been stolen and
Yes.
hijacked. Okay.
Yes.
And we have to demand it back. But that comes through every single election and voting these people out of office and
Just say
exposing
Democrat.
them for who they are.
Dre?
Yeah, and hearing her make like 30 million, her and her husband make 30 million in 1 year is just disappointing to me. There are people that are doing things the right way, working hard, going to work every day, providing for their families,
Right.
not getting involved in fraud, allegedly. And we're seeing a lot of the darkness come to the light. The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just, and I hope that they're held accountable if they did the wrong thing. But we're seeing that this trend is happening a lot within our government, that a lot of congressmen are benefiting while they're in Congress. And this is why regular people or people that we would want to lead the country the right way don't have the means to even get their foot in the door, because there's all these interest groups that are pumping money into these candidates that will do and be their puppet on a string to fold to their interest.
Well, you know what?
Thomas
That's what
Jefferson said
happened.
corporations and government cannot coincide.
That's what happened. See, what the Democrats did when they came to attack America, all these different entities got together. And I said this before, you know, the gays, the fraternities and sorority people, the Urban League, the NAACP, the Black Caucus, all of these organizations are supposed to benefit America. These special NGOs are supposed to benefit the Black community, because it has always been the thing on rebuilding Black America, making Black America get caught up with everybody else, because our community has been at a standstill. And so when you talk about the Democratic Party, who have been the people who have gatekeepers, who have Black faces like ours telling us all these good things on what they're going to do, and then they don't do nothing, but they get the money to do it. And that's where we're at right now. And I think that's going to be important moving forward with these midterms. Black people, we can't vote for the Democrats no more. That's it. It's over. 60 years of telling us wait till the next time. Well, let's tell their ass wait till the next time, because we're going to vote you out of office. It's unequivocally done. This is what Ilhan Omar said at the Breakfast Club, guys. Check it out.
Formally, right? So it is just politics. It's like we're going to subpoena, we're going to do that. It's like it's all of these things that are they're never going to do. So they're just saying it because then that gets them an interview on Fox or Newsmax, or you'll see they tweet and like 5 minutes later, if you check, they already got a clip of themselves being interviewed 5 seconds later. And so it is more about and it's usually like a lot of members that struggle to get or are like really desiring, right? Like there are a lot of members who come to Congress and they are comms heavy. Their office is very comms heavy. They're trying to get on every TV show that they can. And so that's what a lot of it is like driven by since I got there. It's like you say something about Ilhan, people fundraise. They're buying me a ticket back home. It's like, it's all of this stuff. I joked with Nancy Mace that she could drop off the ticket because I'm next door to her office. She hasn't dropped off a ticket yet. If you mean it, send me that ticket.
Yeah, but see, if she was to actually do that, you'd be boo-hooing and crown racism, right?
Okay, guys, your thoughts about that?
He's not wrong.
I didn't really get it. Go ahead.
He's not wrong because she's trying to bait people. Look, she's been under investigation since 2023. This was under the previous administration. Okay. The only reason she really hasn't gotten caught yet is because they do have to involve the SEC. It's further than just her, because it's tied to her husband. So it's a lot that they have to figure out. All of the marriages that she's been involved in, the overlap with her spiritual marriage, who the father of her children are, to the second marriage, who is perhaps her brother, allegedly, who left the country not even a year after they got married. So was your marriage fraudulent? Why is he living out of the country? And then you divorced him 7 years later, only to actually license and marry the father of your children. Then a year after that, you got married to the guy you're with now. Baby, it's issues. They need time to investigate this.
Well, and the fact of the matter is too, that was her clip that she did with the Breakfast Club. But I'm going to play another clip, guys, that's going to break it down, because the American people need to just see how brazen that these thieves are that call themselves Democrats. I keep saying that the party needs to be disbanded because of their ties to everything wrong. The Democratic Party, their whole ideology is against the structure of the way of the American life. We believe in freedoms, capitalism. You can come here broke and get a job, come the right way. There's so many opportunities here, but the Democratic Party has used their leverage to steal elections, get in power, and do exactly what they did with Barack Obama and Joe Biden. That's attack our way of life, attack our children with the homosexuality stuff. They've already done it. And now Trump is fighting back to help us get back to a place where God said marriage between a man and a woman. That's the bottom line. Let's look at this clip of what she said after that.
Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar responding to her state's massive welfare fraud scandal, pinning the blame not on the criminals, but those working to protect the American people.
The great Ilhan Omar, the squad leader, and questions that have dogged her about her immigration status and whether or not she married her brother to get immigration into the United States.
The Vice President of the United States just said something that nobody in Washington has ever said on the record before. Not a political opponent, not a conservative commentator, not an anonymous source speaking to a reporter. The Vice President himself, in an interview, with his name attached, saying words that cannot be walked back. Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud against the United States of America. That is a sitting vice president accusing a sitting member of Congress of a federal crime. And not just accusing her, confirming it, using the word definitely. Saying that he has spoken with White House immigration advisor Stephen Miller about what the legal remedies are, about how to go after her, about how to build a case that delivers justice for the American people. For years, the allegations against Ilhan Omar lived in the space between rumor and investigation, thrown around on social media, dismissed by mainstream outlets as conspiracy, never formally investigated by anyone with the authority to do something about it. That changed on the 28th of March, 2026. And what changed it was not a new piece of evidence. It was not a whistleblower. It was not a court filing or a leaked document. It was a vice president who looked into a camera and said out loud what the White House has apparently concluded behind closed doors. She did it. They know she did it. And now they are figuring out what to do about it.
Okay, guys, your thoughts. Dre?
Look, I laid it out for you.
On it.
But the investigation started in 23, not 26. So I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Vice President Vance is on it. They're going to get her.
Yes.
And they have the evidence, and they're going to do what's needed to hold her accountable.
You know what they're going to do? Yeah. You know what they're going to do? This is the reality of being in government. They're going to hold it over her head. Just wait towards the fall. They're going to say either you drop out of running, don't run for re-election, or you're going to go to jail. We're going to embarrass you and parade you around in the media like we did everybody else. So the choice is yours. That's what's going to happen. Mark my words.
Well, what's your thoughts on that, Steve?
Well, I've read where she's been in the country since she was 12 years old. So I mean, as far as the immigration fraud, was that because of her brother?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the first marriage was spiritual. It was never filed, so it wasn't legal, but those are the father of her children, the first one. The second one is the alleged brother, but he was only with her for like a year and a half, and then he left the country. He was living literally out the country for 7 years. How are you married to somebody who's living out the country?
Right. So yeah, I mean, you know, these people got to quit talking about all these injustices these politicians are doing. And as I think we've all agreed at one time or another, everybody in Congress or wherever, Senate, wherever, a public servant, when they're doing wrong, they need prosecuted. That's all. That's taken care of. You know, it's not a talking point no more. Well, they did this, they did that. This is bad. This is that, and then it's forgot about. Let's start.
But you know, I think that President Trump made a good move by getting rid of Pam Bondi. I think Pam Bondi was. I think Pam Bondi was compromised, and that's why she should have already been arresting Pritzker and Johnson and all the rest of these people who have been aiding and abetting. So, you know, it's just like what we've been talking about, guys. The politicians have created laws to protect themselves when they're breaking laws. That's what they're doing. And so by them breaking laws, and they can say, well, we can do this because you can't do this because we passed the law that said you can't do that. And that's why I say we have to take unconventional things to do to reel these people in, because they've already abused the Constitution, and we got to bring it back someplace. I'm going to play a little bit more of this guy, just some of the money that's been gone.
$1,000 a year. When a member of Congress asked Omar directly on camera how she went from negative $65,000 to over $30 million in just 7 years, her answer was 4 words. My disclosure is public, not an explanation, not a breakdown of investments or business income or inheritance. A deflection, a reference to documents that raise more questions than they answer, because here is what those public disclosures show.
After federal disclosures show Congresswoman Omar's husband's assets grew millions of dollars in about a year. The bulk of Tim Mynett's wealth comes from 2 ventures, a California-based winery and a DC-based venture capital firm.
Omar's husband, Tim Mynett, runs an investment firm. The firm's website recently deleted all of its content, making it impossible for the public to see what it does, who it serves, or where its money comes from. Omar and Mynett also own a winery together. A winery that, according to investigators who have looked into it, does not appear to actually operate as a functioning business, an investment firm with no public information. A winery that does not appear to produce wine. And a net worth that grew by $30 million in 7 years on a government salary. To follow the stories that connect these numbers to real consequences for real Americans, make sure you are subscribed right now. Because what is happening in Minnesota is not just about one congresswoman. It is about a system of fraud that the vice president says has been stealing from American taxpayers for years, while the government looked the other way. Because Omar's alleged personal fraud is only one piece of what Vance's task force is investigating. Minnesota has been at the center of one of the largest fraud investigations in American history, the Feeding Our Future case.
Minnesota is reeling from a fraud scandal involving $1 billion siphoned from multiple federal programs during the COVID pandemic.
A program designed to provide meals to children during the pandemic. A program that, according to federal prosecutors, was turned into a money laundering operation that stole over $40 million from American taxpayers. $40 million. Taken from a program designed to feed hungry children, funneled through fake nonprofits, ghost kitchens, and shell companies, sent overseas, gone. The people charged in that case are overwhelmingly connected to Minnesota's Somali.
Now, guys, you heard what they said, right? They said that the Democrats are using the same process with every state. Just like here in Illinois, they're using the NGOs to get the money to give back to the politicians. Okay, yes. All these programs, because Ilhan Omar, Congress just stopped something that was about the past, and she had $1 million in there for her own personal pocket for a recovery program that was a scam. They've already caught that.
and they shut it down immediately. It's like, man, she's bold. She's bold.
It's that brazen attitude that they have that makes me say, you know what, man, they all need to be gone from here, guys. We got to get them out of here. You know, your thoughts on that? Your thoughts on that, Binky? You up first?
Well, as I've mentioned before, you know, the more government creates more government, the more money that's being out there being money laundered. That's all I can tell you. They're creating programs to fund themselves. They're enriching themselves. We've got an emolument clause in the Constitution. You know, so the more we allow government to grow itself and create more programs, the more of this stuff's going to happen. And it's going to be, and it's all on our backs. We're paying for it. So I think somebody added up all your state taxes and your license fees and federal taxes and stuff. Almost 70% of your income is paid in on taxes in one way, shape, or form. So how do you live free when you're 70% of your income of your earnings is gone into a tax or a license or a permit or something? And who's living the dream? It ain't us.
No, and that's the whole thing about this is that, you know, the Somalis and everybody else, like the Somalis came and they took the black community over. They just took it over and ran black people out of there. And then they was able to set up all these shops, all these scams, and use our communities as a hub for corruption. And that's got to stop. That's why I say, black people, it's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to get back to some common sense type of living. We know for a fact that our communities was brought to this place by design. It was brought to this place by other black people that look like us but don't care about us. And this is what I've been saying a long time. You know, going into our next segment, there has always been, and let me say this so people can hear me. There has always been the situation to where who is going to lead black people? Black people, we need to quit looking for one person that's going to come and lead us out of all of the problems and be the savior like Christ, which y'all thought was Barack Obama, and he did nothing. I tell people that who say, where's the leadership? I say, look into the mirror, and the leadership starts with you.
That's right.
Fixing your house. But the point that I'm making is this. These old tired ass civil rights leaders like Jesse Jackson, he gone, and you know, and Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton just had the National Action Network convention. As a matter of fact, in the 2000s, I worked with Al in New York and helped him create that convention. But that convention is no more than a money scheme because all the people that come and sponsor and get involved with it, they just wash money through. See, Al Sharpton has been a wash house. You know, like when Kamala ran, and then they be taking money through his organization, and he be kicking it out the back door, Barack Obama and all the rest of them. That's why Al Sharpton can't say nothing nor do nothing, but he has placed himself as the heir apparent to the black community now that Jesse's gone. But I think black people have woke up to this bull crap about we need a savior. Our savior is Christ. First up, God. After that, there is no man. It's you, black people. We have to save ourselves. We have to stop waiting for this fictional character that's going to come and wave the wand and free black people and make sure our communities are good, our schools are safe, our kids are being taught. That's not going to happen. That's the lie that the Democrats told you on wait till the next time and we're going to fix you. So 60 years later, we ain't.
All right.
But the point that I'm making is this, guys. Over the weekend, I think it was last week, the National Action Network had their convention. And honestly, Nobody was there. Kamala was there. Al Green was there. And it was a bunch of old ass people in the audience, which didn't make a hill of beans to being nothing. But Al Sharpton doesn't care because he sold the black community out for backdoor money, snitching. Hey, he got a radio show. But to the American people and patriots across this country, if Al Sharpton was being the super rights leader and he spoke for black people, why is our country in this trouble? And I want to play this clip, and I'm going to get y'all.
He supports socialism. He backed Mondani. He's a socialist. He's a communist. That's why.
Let me throw this on right quick, and then we'll talk about it.
Bub, tell us your name and briefly what's on your mind.
Hey, yo, as I look around this room, if you're 35 years old or younger, raise your hand. 4 people. So here's the thing. Y'all in trouble. Yesterday you had Al Green up here talking about we need a Secretary of Reconciliation, and then that's going to include what he said was reparations, which, by the way, wasn't reparations. Reparations is more than a check, but the very first thing it is a check. And come this year during the midterms and in 2028, if you don't have our check, you won't get no vote. No check, no vote. Yeah, I know that ain't what you want to hear, but that's what's happening. All of y'all in here, with all due respect, you're beautiful, but you're old. You're not talking to the youth. You don't know how to talk to the youth. You're trying to tell us what to do. We're not having it no more.
Wait.
I love
The
it.
guy holding the mic is just like horrified.
You're beautiful, but you're old.
Old.
He's not wrong.
And we're not taking it no more.
Right?
Y'all watch that? Y'all ever seen that movie called Network? It was
Yes.
from the 1970s.
Yes.
And the guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but the main
We're mad as
character,
heck and we're not going to take it anymore.
He's like,
yes.
oh, go to your window.
Yeah,
open
Charlton
it up.
Heston.
Yes. and that's where we're at right now.
Yes.
You know, the youth are stepping up and they say, you know what, y'all, we've been listening to y'all for decades. Not
Yes.
a couple years, not a couple of hours, not a couple months, for decades. And y'all have not produced anything for us. Right?
That's what we're just talking about.
So we're done with this. So no check, no vote. And I love that message. That's actually a beautiful message right there. He
Mr.
put out
Binky?
there.
But
Maybe
is
think-
what is that message actually saying? You don't have to know what that person is that you're going to vote in. Just pay me to get my vote. That's what concerns me. The young kids don't know anything about government.
True.
They don't know the principles of the people they want to vote for. But if you pay me, I'll vote for you. That don't.
But
make
it's more
no
than that.
sense.
It's more than that. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Steve. I get what you're saying. But there's more. There's more to it. There's more.
We
There's
want
more
our
context there.
reparations check, but he also followed up and said it's not just money,
Yes.
Right.
and he
There's more
emphasized
to
that
it.
part.
Yeah, there's more context to it.
Dre?
Like I said, I
Yeah.
get what he's saying, but to your Steve, true. Yeah. But there's
I
more.
love this message. The guy holding the mic was absolutely horrified.
He was.
Because
He was like,
his eyes got
He wouldn't
wide.
take that
because
mic
he
back
was
like,
I kind of need this. I would like to see more young people push back against what we have seen as being a feckless group of leadership that has not produced a dime, improvements in education, improvements in living conditions. None of that has happened, and I'm glad that young people are starting to see the writing on the wall and are pushing back against these old leaders that are just getting a check, living the good life, while the rest of their constituents continue to suffer.
Well, you know,
and I think a lot of too, Steve, with the payment part of it, it's not like, okay, pay me for my vote. You need to earn my vote. Does that make sense?
It didn't come out that way to me. I mean,
yeah.
What came up to me is Frederick Douglass had a mentor, and that mentor told him that the Constitution was a very bad and racist document. And then Frederick Douglass went and read it and said, no, this document isn't racist. And if followed as it's supposed to be, it's a great document. So
yeah, it is.
I guess that's why I took it is, to me, it sounded like you know, give me my reparations or you don't get my vote.
Right.
Reparations is a policy that they like to see that they think would benefit the Black community.
And
that's what he's asking for. Provide us with policy, something tangible that is going to actually
that we can
help
work
the
with.
community. That we
Because,
can work
you know, if I can teach you how to fish, if I can teach you, hey, get your engineering license and you will never starve, right? Because you'll be able to fix, work, draft. You'll be able to do all of that with engineering. The problem is they are taking the resources that were allocated for Black Americans and they put POC on it. And then they brought in people here illegally or on H-1B visas, and they're giving them the resources. Reparations shuts that off. And it creates the repair for the Black community that's already in place.
Right. And it's one policy. If he would have said immigration, reduce immigration numbers or no vote, many people probably wouldn't have had a problem with that. Or improve housing, improve education or no vote. So it's a policy. That's it didn't come out clear like that because he used the word check. And a lot of people are just like, oh,
let me break it down.
It's a policy.
Right.
Let me break it down to you what the situation is. See, our young people don't understand how politics operate. See, Frederick Douglass and them, they went back and did the research on the Constitution and found out how it operated. See, our young people have been taught to don't worry about the Constitution. You worry about that video games. You worry about the Nike shoes you wear. You worried about, don't even worry about getting the education because we're going to take care of you. And so when you see a young man like this, and we have to really take a look at the words he's saying. In other words, what he's saying is, if you don't do right by me and my generation, we're not going to vote for you. And that's why I tell the younger generation, I said, look, you guys got to start researching. Anytime that you want to hide something from a Black person, this is the mindset that has been given to our children and even to older Blacks. If you want to hide something from Black people, put it in a book. Because they say Black people don't read. And because of the fact that we are not reading, because if we was reading, then we would know how to defend our communities against these so-called politicians who are in office, who can be removed. They don't know how to do it. And so the fire that the young people have is what we had, that fire when we came out. When I came out of school, there was nothing nobody could tell me. You can tell me I couldn't do it. I did it. I became successful. I raised my children. And that was because I knew how society operated. I knew how the legal system operated. I understood the functions of the Constitution because I was taught all these things in school. And so what the Democrats did was killed all and took all those trades out the schools and made our young people to where they don't understand how things operate so that they can spoon feed them the rest of their lives, generation after generations, study stealing wealth out the community, study lying and saying, you know, we got your back, and this is the result of it. Let's play a little bit more of this, then we're going to get out of here, guys.
And replacing them. Told us she wasn't giving reparations for Black Americans, said it with her full chest years ago, then got on stage at this Al Sharpton event, lying once again. And I don't know, maybe I'll get on the collard greens in the bathtub lady another time. Today I want to focus on this brother right here, Melrose Radio. He wasn't having it. He got up at the conference and put the whole room on notice.
If you don't have our check, you won't get no vote. No check, no vote. Yeah, I know that ain't what you want to hear, but that's what's happening.
He told them no check, no vote. Midterms are approaching, and they want Black
And then the women
Americans
behind
to run
it.
out there
Why
and
is
vote in
everybody
order to take
targeting
care of
Trump?
everybody else while they keep replacing us with all these other people, prioritizing them, giving them reparations and all kinds of cash, but keep telling us to fall back while we're watching them do for everybody else. Nah, the brother told them to their faces, no check, no vote, stop playing with us.
All of y'all in here, with all due respect, you're beautiful, but you're old. You're not talking to the youth. You don't know how to talk to the youth. You're trying to tell us what to do. We're not having it no more. So if you want our vote, you got to come with our paper. We're not scared of Trump. We're not scared of anybody. Biden is a racist. Trump is a racist. Kamala is a racist. And if you don't have our money...
Y'all, look how they all tilted their heads when he's...
Guys, your thoughts.
She is, because she's not a Black woman. Like it is infuriating to see this Brahmin Indian, and that's what she is. She's a Brahmin Indian. Her mother claimed to be white on her birth certificate. I'm gonna just start. You know what? I'm gonna make a T-shirt with her birth certificate on. Look, she's not Black. Okay, she's not. And further to this young man, talking about payment. Have they not paid the illegals to be their support system?
Yes.
Later on. So they've already paid for votes. Okay. Because they brought these people over here with the intention that that's going to be their new voting block.
I'm going to play the rest of it. I'm going to get y'all final comments and we're going to be out.
Episode ever. And yes, they're so animated like a skit, but no, this is real life.
Biden is a racist, Trump is a racist, Kamala is a racist, and if you don't have our money, you don't get our vote. Yeah, who are you? Oh, all right, yeah, so like I was saying, I'm gonna land my plane right there, but the Democrats are no better than the Republicans. No check, no vote. Y'all take care. And somebody get my man a tissue. He need a tissue.
I like that swag.
All right, guys, y'all.
Swag is
your thoughts, Binky. You up first, Binky. Your thoughts.
I'm sorry. His point's way over my head. What he was trying to point out, I don't make sense of. Everybody's a racist. If it ain't about money, look. As I said, you're only going to know on who you learn from. And if you learn from people that are not telling you the truth, you're not going to learn nothing. Frederick Douglass is proof of that. We are proof of that. If we don't have to agree on everything. We're not going to agree on everything.
Right.
But the thing of it is, we're all here together all the time.
Yep.
And that's what counts, is we all have a point to make. We all have an opinion. And I think we are all on the same page in one way, shape, or form. And that's what makes things better. I just don't go with what he's saying.
Dre?
Well, what he was, okay, I'm sorry.
Dre,
go ahead, Dr. Eccles. Go ahead, Cook.
No, what I was going to break down, what he was trying to say is stop telling us to be scared of everyone and just vote with you. Because we now realize our eyes are open. You're not here for us. I'm just translating what the young man said.
Yes.
That was basically the crux of his point. You keep telling us everybody's a racist and everybody's against us, but you're the ones that are against us. So if you're not going to help us, we are not going to vote for you. That was his point.
Go ahead, Dre.
So at some point, the Democratic Party decided that people in the Democratic Party decided that they weren't going to support America because they feel like America disrupted the entire world. And all the world's problems are because of things that America has done. So we owe these people from other countries. Let's just bring them in. But Black Americans have been destabilized for a very long time. And then, as Pastor Laurie has said, we have been told to wait our turn. We have been told that the policies are coming, the cavalry is coming, but there have been no policy changes that have been significantly improved the Black community. And for 4 years, we watched as the immigrants got every sort of break, tax break, housing break, education break, food, health break that were available. And then they're going to tell us to wait again. Go get yours, Kamala Harris said. Well, we're going to get ours. And it's coming at the polls. And there's going to be a lot of disruptions in the leadership this time around.
Randy?
You know, last night I was in an event. And gentleman, he said to me, he said, "You're wearing an American flag tie." He's like, "I wouldn't expect that coming from a black man." And I said, "Why not?" He said, I just don't see patriotic brothers these days. And I thought that was an interesting observation. And that's where we at in America. He was a black man too. And that's where we at in America today, is that there's an assumption that because you're black, you're a Democrat. And if you're a Democrat, you don't like America because what America has done to black people. There's a I guess you could say a building block that exists within the black community, and that's why it's so fractured and so dichotomized. And it's like, I'm like, nah, that's not the case with me. And he was like, oh, and he was just lost, you know. And I could tell he yearned for a further conversation, and we're gonna have that conversation because we just changed contact information. We're gonna talk, but I say all that to say, for that young man, and I get to Steve's point that, you know, it was kind of like the messaging was over his head, and I get that, and that's where the youth are at, is they have this pent up anger and frustration that is misdirected. And they say anything because they need to get out. They need to lash out. They need to. So the first thing, everybody's racist. Screw it, you know. And it's like, nobody's racist, guys. Calm down. But you see, like Dr. Shack just did a marvelous job of breaking down actually the crux of what he was saying. And that's a mass majority of America right now. They have pent up frustration, and they don't know how to channel it because they don't know any damn thing. So, but with that, you can learn a lot by picking up the book, Polarizing America, in stores now.
Yeah, I think the babies are tired of us telling them what to do and talking at them and not talking with them.
With them.
Or to them.
Yes.
And saying, what is it that you need? What do you, I mean, when you look at this dumpster fire, you know, how do you think we can salvage it? And that's where the conversation really needs to start, as opposed to saying, well, I can do this to help you and you need to see it this way. No, ask them what they think. Ask them how they feel. We need to start there, because if we don't, we're never going to get anywhere. I keep trying to tell people, these 18-year-olds right now, you think it's funny, them running around school saying F ICE, F Trump. These are the same people that are going to be helping you with your bedpan. These are the same people that are going to be helping you feed you, because we are not going to be able to feed yourself. Look, you better take care of these babies, because if you don't, they will not take care of you. They will be the first to kill you and off you, because they'll be like, you're taking up resources that I need.
We're indoctrinated, like you're saying, Dr. Nichols, because now some of these young people are refusing to serve people that are wearing like MAGA hats or shirts that indicate that they're Republican.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's the misconception that has been put to them, because we haven't taught them. They have Stockholm syndrome, because one, they don't know anything, because they're young, they haven't experienced anything, and two, when you don't know about the surroundings, when you don't know your surroundings and how to maneuver into those surroundings, you sit stagnant. And so that's what has happened with our young people. You know, on one hand, they see their communities dying. On the other hand, they see our counterparts, the Boule people, the educated guys, study advancing, and their kids are growing. And then they see the black community study dying. Nobody's telling the truth. Everybody's lying, and everybody's not doing nothing, and nobody is listening to them. And so this was his moment to put it out there. He put it out there in such a way that it made it seem like he was just talking about, if you don't pay me, I ain't gonna vote. That wasn't it. What he was saying to me was, we tired of the bullshit. We seen what you did past generations. We seen what you did to our moms, our brothers, our people before us. We've seen the lies that you told. That message was for the Democratic Party. And the young people that said, we've seen the dress is up and we know you ain't no woman. So now that we see who you truly are, we're going to deal with you the best way that we know how. Guys, your last word. We're going to get on up out of here.
Well, see
Well,
y'all next week. Oh, wait, Dr. Check.
I was going to say thank you guys for joining us here. Definitely remember to check out the USA Redemption Party. We are looking for servants of the people, not politicians, and that's usaredemptionparty.com.
Last words, Bink.
Well, we need more Frederick Douglasses. I see 4 of them here right now, and I'd like to see a lot more.
Yes.
Go ahead on, Drake. Your last words, baby.
Yeah, policies matter. We see that if we get the right policies, we can make improvements in our communities. Numbers USA, our only policy is immigration, and we're going to give you tools that you could use to check on how your politician has voted on immigration and also communicate with them if you don't like what's happening.
Randy, you're last.
See y'all next week. Check us out on Perm & Associates and rperm.com. And thank you all once again. And I hope y'all learned something today.
Show that book again one time.
Yes, and pick up the book. Like I said, it's already out. Polarizing America. You'll love it. You'll find it to be a great read, and it will piss you off, I'm sure. So,
yes, guys, thanks for coming. I'll see you guys next week. Let's get all together and do something. Folks, I want to thank you for tuning in. I ask that you share it around to a lot of our viewers who come to watch the show. I keep telling and keep requesting that our viewers go to our television platform. Let the Truth Be Told networks. We're on Apple, Roku. We're on Amazon. We're all over the place. But if you go to our platform, let the truth be told.lightcast.com. It's running on the marquee at the bottom. You'll be able not only to see our live shows there, but you'll be able to interact with us as well through chat. And it's a platform where you can go and see other shows that can educate your mind and feed your brain. These are my last words. To the American people and patriots across this country, we can see where our government has went wrong. It went wrong when it started being something other than a government. When you stop caring about the people who pay your salary, when you stop caring about the people who pay for this country to run, then you quit caring about this country. And that is what has happened. We've allowed the Democratic Party to change rules to protect themselves so that they could commit crimes. And in all the blue states, the same kind of crime, the same structure that Barack Obama set up when he was in office to steal money. He gave $9 billion to Iran. He has continued to display uncharacteristic behavior of being an American citizen, and he is not. So to the American people and patriots across this country, I'm asking you, stop listening to the foolishness that the Democratic Party is spewing right now. We've already seen how they've destroyed this country. We've seen the policies that they put forth. And the policies that the Democratic Party has not been conducive or good for the American people or the future of this country. We have to stand now strong, especially the Black community. This is an opportune time for us to get back from everybody else and then reinvest into ourselves, reinvest into our future, which are our children. It's disheartening to see young Black men and women confused because they don't have the wherewithal, or we have not taught them and showed them the way for the future for themselves and their children. It's high time that we are looking for leadership. But I'm telling you, if you want to find the next closest leader to you, we can't wait for any Al Sharptons. We can't wait for Jesse Jacksons. We can't wait for the NAACP. We can't wait for Kamala or Joe or any of the politicians who have destroyed this country. We have to put God first we create our families, teach our children on who they are and the power that they have when they get out and vote and rebuild the Black community. Let us make this country great again by supporting Trump and making sure he clean house from this dirty place that America has fallen into. God bless y'all.